I want you to take a deep breath and realize something important before we dive into the shadows today. You've probably spent months, maybe years, looking in the mirror and wondering what you did wrong. You've asked yourself if you weren't attractive enough, or if the spark just died because of something you said. But I'm here to tell you that the void you've been trying to fill in them was never your responsibility to fix. Have you ever felt like you were sharing a bed with a ghost? Someone who is physically there, but whose eyes are always scanning the horizon for something else. It's a haunting feeling. It's that subtle shift in the atmosphere when the person who once claimed you were their entire world suddenly makes you feel invisible. You start to sense a presence in your relationship that shouldn't be there, a third party you can't quite see yet. We are talking about the ultimate betrayal of intimacy today. It is a topic that leaves most survivors feeling discarded and broken beyond repair. But the truth is much more complex than just cheating or lust. It's about a psychological hunger that can never be satisfied, no matter how much love, beauty, or devotion you offer. It is a fundamental glitch in their emotional wiring that has absolutely nothing to do with you. Think back to the beginning, to that love-bombing phase where the intensity was almost overwhelming. They made you feel like the most desirable person on the planet. The sex was likely explosive, frequent, and felt like a profound soul connection. You thought you had finally found the one who truly saw you. But for a narcissist, that high wasn't about love. It was about the chase, the conquest, and the thrill of the new. And then the silence started. The gaps between moments of affection grew wider. You noticed them glancing at their phone a little too often or mentioning a friend whose name felt like a thorn in your side. That's the moment the mask begins to crack. You realize that the pedestal they put you on was just a vantage point for them to look for their next target. It's a painful awakening, but it's the first step toward your freedom. Why is one partner never enough? It's a question that keeps you up at 3 in the morning, scrolling through old photos and trying to find the moment things changed. You wonder if you've lost your touch or if you've become boring. I want you to stop that narrative right now. Their inability to remain faithful is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of their internal poverty. They are starving and you are not the food. Imagine trying to fill a bucket that has a massive hole in the bottom. You can pour the purest, most expensive water into it all day long, but it will never stay full. That is the narcissist's ego. Sex, for them, is just another way to pour validation into that leaky bucket. But because the bucket is broken, the validation leaks out almost instantly. They need a constant, fresh stream from different sources just to feel a baseline of alive. They don't see sex the way you do. To you, it's a bridge, a way to be known and to know another person deeply. To them, it's a transaction. It's a power move. It's a way to prove they still have it. When they have sex with one person for too long, the newness wears off and the validation loses its potency. They don't want a partner, they want a fan club. And a fan club with only one member is a tragedy to a narcissist. You've been trying to solve a puzzle that has missing pieces, and I'm here to give those pieces back to you. We are going to peel back the layers of this pathological need for variety. We are going to look at the cold, hard mechanics of their entitlement and why your loyalty was never going to be the cure for their restlessness. This isn't just about infidelity, it's about the fundamental way they view human beings as disposable objects. By the end of this, I want you to feel a sense of clarity that replaces the weight in your chest. You're going to understand that their wandering eye wasn't a search for something better, but a desperate attempt to outrun their own boredom and self-loathing. You are the sun, but they are addicted to the flickering of cheap candles. Stay with me, because the truth is about to set you free from the guilt you've been carrying for far too long. To understand why a narcissist can't stay satisfied, you have to understand what supply really is. To them, you are a source of energy, much like a battery. When you are new, your battery is at 100%. Your admiration, your reaction to their charm, and your sexual energy are all fresh and potent. It's a massive ego boost. But as time goes on, the novelty fades. You become known, and in their world, known is synonymous with boring. They suffer from a profound lack of object constancy. This means that if you aren't providing them with an immediate, high-intensity emotional or physical reward, you essentially cease to matter in that moment. They don't carry the warmth of your relationship in their heart when you are away. They are strictly out of sight, out of mind. If someone else offers a shiny new spark of interest, they will gravitate toward it like a moth to a flame. Think of it like a video game they've already beaten. They know all your moves, they know how you'll react, and they've unlocked all the levels. For a healthy person, this familiarity creates intimacy and safety. For a narcissist, it creates a crushing sense of claustrophobia. They need the level 1 energy again. They need the mystery, the pursuit, and the ego stroke of tricking someone new into believing they are a wonderful, perfect human. Sex is their primary tool for manipulation. It's how they hook you, and it's how they maintain control. But once they feel they have won you completely, the challenge is gone. They look at you and see a conquered territory. And a conqueror doesn't stay in one city forever. They want to see what's over the next hill. It's a predatory instinct masked as a romantic preference. They aren't looking for a soulmate, they are looking for a victim. There is also a deep-seated fear of true intimacy lurking beneath the surface. To be truly intimate with one person means being seen, flaws and all. A narcissist cannot afford to be seen because, deep down, they believe they are empty or even hideous. Multiple partners allow them to keep everyone at a distance. If they have 3 or 4 options, no single person can ever get close enough to see the hollow core of their actual personality. They use sex to regulate their unstable sense of self. When they feel low or when life isn't going their way, they seek out sexual conquests to prove they are still powerful and desirable. It's like a drug. They need a higher dose and more variety to get the same hit of dopamine. One partner, no matter how amazing, eventually becomes a tolerance break. They need the hit of a stranger's gaze to feel like they actually exist in the world. You might have noticed them triangulating you, subtly or overtly mentioning other people who find them attractive. This is intentional. They want to create a sense of competition for their affection. By having multiple partners, they ensure they are always the prize being fought over. It keeps you off balance and working harder to please them while they sit back and enjoy the chaos. It's a cruel game designed to feed their bottomless need for status. Their entitlement is truly staggering. In their mind, the rules of basic human decency simply don't apply to them. They believe they deserve whatever they want, whenever they want it. If they feel a momentary urge for someone else, they see it as their right to fulfill it. They don't think about the pain it causes you because, in their internal narrative, your feelings are just an obstacle to their immediate gratification. You are a tool, not a human. There's a specific kind of narcissistic boredom that is almost physical for them. They cannot stand to be alone with their own thoughts, so they use the excitement of new sexual encounters to distract themselves. It's a frantic, desperate running away from their own internal silence. When you see them chasing someone else, don't see it as a loss for you. See it as a person who is so terrified of their own emptiness that they have to keep moving. Let's be blunt, they are collectors of people. Each new partner is like a trophy on a shelf. But trophies don't provide companionship, they provide a sense of achievement. Once the trophy is dusty, they want a newer, shinier one. This is why they are never satisfied. Satisfaction requires a capacity for gratitude and connection that they simply do not possess. They are doomed to a life of searching for something they wouldn't recognize if it hit them. Eventually, the cycle reaches a breaking point. You start to notice the inconsistencies, the stories that don't quite add up, the work meetings that run until 2 in the morning, the strange scent on their clothes. You've been playing the role of the loyal partner, but the script has changed without your permission. This is the turning point where the shared fantasy begins to dissolve, and the cold reality of their betrayal starts to sink in. You confront them, hoping for a moment of honesty or a flicker of remorse. But instead of an apology, you get the narcissistic rage or the gaslight. They tell you you're being crazy or insecure. They might even blame you, saying that if you were more adventurous or more attentive, they wouldn't have to look elsewhere. It's a calculated move to shift the guilt back onto your shoulders, making you the villain in a story they authored. This is the moment you realize that you aren't dealing with a mistake. A mistake is a one-time lapse in judgment followed by genuine change. This is a pattern. This is a lifestyle. You begin to see that they haven't been struggling with fidelity, they've been practicing it as a form of art. The person you thought you knew, the one who whispered promises of forever in your ear, was just a character they played to get what they wanted from you. The shift in power happens when you stop asking, "Why aren't I enough?" and start asking, "Why are they so broken?" This change in perspective is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, the narcissist doesn't look so powerful or mysterious anymore. They look small. They look like a child throwing a tantrum because they can't have every toy in the store. Your pain begins to transform into a sharp, analytical observation of their pathetic behavior. You might discover that their other partners aren't even who you imagined. They aren't necessarily younger, more beautiful, or more successful. Often, they are just different. The narcissist will bottom feed if it means getting a quick hit of validation. This is the ultimate insult to your ego, but it's also the ultimate proof that it was never about your quality. They would trade a diamond for a handful of gravel if the gravel was shiny and new. Watch their reaction when you finally withdraw your attention. When you stop crying, stop questioning, and stop trying to fix the relationship, they panic. Not because they love you, but because they are losing a primary source of supply. They might hoover you, coming back with grand gestures and more sexual intensity than ever before. It's a trap. They are just trying to reset the game so they can win again. Don't fall for the encore. The most dramatic realization is that they were never actually with you, even when they were in your bed. They were always performing. Every touch, every word, every look was part of a script designed to elicit a specific reaction from you. Now that you see the strings, the puppet show isn't entertaining anymore. It's just sad. You are witnessing the collapse of a false reality, and while it hurts, it's the most honest moment you've ever had. They will try to make you feel like you are the one losing out. They'll parade their new flings in front of you, trying to spark that old jealousy. But look closer. Look at the eyes of the new person. They have that same starstruck look you once had. They are currently in the love-bombing phase, unaware that they are just the next meal. You aren't watching a new romance. You are watching a repeat of a horror movie, and you already know the ending. This is where you reclaim your agency. You realize that your loyalty was a gift they didn't have the capacity to keep. You stop being the detective and start being the survivor. You stop checking their social media and stop asking mutual friends about them. You realize that their chaos is a self-contained unit, and you are finally opting out of the production. The power shift is complete when their betrayals no longer surprise you. They just bore you. It's a slow burn realization, like the sun coming up over a cold landscape. You are standing in the wreckage of what you thought was a life, but for the first time, the air is clear. You see the narcissist for what they are. A person who will spend their entire existence chasing shadows and never feeling the warmth of a real sun. They are the ones who are truly alone, even when they have a dozen people in their bed. You, however, are finally free. Now we have to look at the grim reality of the aftermath. The collapse of a relationship with a serial cheater doesn't just leave you with a broken heart. It leaves you with a shattered sense of reality. You start to doubt your own intuition. You look back at every "I love you" and wonder if it was a lie. This is the psychological fallout of being treated like an option instead of a person. It's a heavy weight, and it's okay to feel the burden of it. The narcissist, meanwhile, continues their frantic dance. But notice the pattern. Their relationships get shorter and shorter. The masks slip faster now. They are getting older, and the charm that worked in their 20s is starting to look desperate and pathetic in their 40s or 50s. They are becoming a caricature of themselves. The consequences of their inability to connect are finally catching up to them in the form of a deep, echoing loneliness. They leave a trail of destruction behind them, traumatized ex-partners, confused children, and a reputation that eventually precedes them. They think they are winning by having so many partners, but they are actually losing the only thing that matters: the ability to be trusted. Without trust, they have no real foundation. They are building their life on shifting sands, and every time they move to a new partner, the ground beneath them gets even more unstable. There is a specific kind of exhaustion that sets in for the narcissist, though they will never admit it. Maintaining multiple lies, multiple schedules, and multiple personas is taxing. They are constantly on, constantly performing, and constantly looking over their shoulder. It's a paranoid way to live. They are prisoners of their own deception, forced to keep spinning the plates or watch everything come crashing down around them. It's a self-imposed hell. The physical consequences can be just as real. By treating sex as a commodity and partners as disposable, they often put their health, and yours, at risk. It's a blatant disregard for safety that mirrors their disregard for your heart. When you realize how little they valued your physical well-being, the romance of the relationship officially dies. You see that their needs were always prioritized over your very life. That is a chilling realization. As they move from person to person, they lose pieces of themselves. Because they only reflect what their current partner wants to see, they eventually forget who they actually are. They become a patchwork of stolen traits and rehearsed lines. They are a nobody trying to be somebody to everybody. It's a tragic way to exist, never having a home base, never having a soul that is truly their own. They are the ultimate emotional nomads, wandering aimlessly. You might hear that they are so happy with someone else. Don't believe the highlight reel. Narcissists are masters of optics. They will post the perfect photos and write the most gushing captions, but it's just a new set of costumes for the same old play. Behind closed doors, the same patterns are already repeating. The new partner is already starting to feel that glitch in the matrix. They are already wondering why the air feels so thin. The ultimate consequence for the narcissist is that they will never experience the beauty of being truly known. They will never know the peace of a 20-year marriage where you can sit in silence and feel completely understood. They will never know the safety of a partner who knows your worst secrets and loves you anyway. By chasing the high of the new, they have forfeited the depth of the real. They are eating candy for every meal and starving to death. It's a dark, honest truth. They are broken beyond your ability to fix. No amount of better sex, more understanding, or patience would have changed the outcome. They were always going to do this because they are wired for the hunt, not the home. Recognizing this is painful, but it is the only way to stop the what-ifs from circling your brain like vultures. The collapse was inevitable. It wasn't your failure, it was their design. Look at the specific, recognizable details of your life now. Maybe the house is quieter. Maybe your bed feels big and empty. But notice what's missing. The anxiety, the constant checking, the feeling of walking on eggshells. The weight of their secrets is gone. They took the chaos with them when they left. The wreckage they left behind is just building material for your new life. You are finally standing on solid ground, even if it feels a little lonely right now. We are entering the light now. Healing from this kind of betrayal requires a radical shift in your internal dialogue. You have to stop viewing their infidelity as a statement about your value and start seeing it as a statement about their disability. They have an emotional disability that prevents them from processing intimacy. You, on the other hand, have a massive capacity for love and loyalty. That is your superpower, not your weakness. I want you to reclaim your sexuality from the shadow of their abuse. For too long, your physical self was a battleground for their validation. You might feel used or dirty because of their actions. But their darkness cannot stain your light. Your body is yours. Your intimacy is a sacred gift that you get to decide who is worthy of. You are not damaged goods. You are a survivor who has been through the fire and come out with a heart of tempered steel. Ground yourself in the present moment. They are out there, somewhere, still running, still lying, still trying to fill that bottomless pit in their chest. But you are right here. You are safe. You are breathing. You are no longer an actor in their twisted drama. The silence in your room isn't empty, it's peace. It's the sound of a life that belongs entirely to you again. Take a moment to just sit with that. It's a beautiful, hard-won victory. You will have days where the pain flares up, where you miss the illusion of who they were. That's normal. Grief isn't a straight line. But when those moments come, remind yourself of the truth. You don't miss them, you miss the person they pretended to be. And that person never existed. You are grieving a ghost. The person who cheated, who lied, and who discarded you, that is the real them. Don't let the nostalgia lie to you. Empowerment comes when you realize that you don't need their closure. They will never give you a satisfying answer because they don't have one. Their why is just a mess of insecurity and entitlement. Your closure is the fact that you are no longer there. Your closure is the life you are building without them. Every time you choose yourself, every time you laugh with a friend, every time you sleep through the night, that is your revenge. You are going to attract real love again, but this time, you'll be different. You'll have narcdar. You'll recognize the red flags of overintensity and lack of empathy. You'll value consistency over fireworks and character over charm. This experience has sharpened your soul. You are now a person who knows the difference between a conquest and a connection. That wisdom is worth every tear you've shed. You are finally becoming ungameable. Think about the strength it took to survive their mind games. You endured a psychological war zone and you're still standing. You are resilient, you are intelligent, and you are deeply capable of healing. The narcissist tried to break you to make themselves feel bigger, but all they did was prove how unbreakable you really are. They are a small person with a big ego. You are a big person who has finally found their boundaries. As we close this chapter, I want you to look toward the future with a quiet, steady hope. The road ahead won't always be easy, but it will be honest. You are no longer living a lie. You are no longer sharing your bed with a stranger's secrets. You are the architect of your own joy now. The narcissist is a prisoner of their own void, but you have the keys to the entire world. Walk out that door and don't ever look back. Remember that intimacy is a privilege, not a right. You gave it to someone who didn't deserve it, and that's okay. It shows the depth of your kindness. But from now on, that privilege is guarded by a person who knows their own worth. You are a masterpiece that was being viewed by someone who only understood finger painting. Don't lower your quality, just find a better gallery. You are and have always been more than enough. The narcissist will always be looking for their next partner because they can't stand to be alone with the person they've become. But you can stand alone, and in that solitude, you will find a strength that no one can ever take away from you. You weren't a stop on their journey, they were a lesson on yours. And the final truth is this: they didn't break your heart, they broke the chains that were keeping you from your true self.